Welcome back. In this video, we will provide an overview of risk and issue management within Acuity PPM. The first place we would start is at the project level. The risk page functions in the same way for both projects and proposals. And for projects, we also have an issues page. As a brief reminder, risks are things that could happen. Issues are things that are actually happening, typically negative events. And on the risk side, there are typical actions we would try to take. Risk mitigation is the most common form of risk response. But Acuity PPM follows common project management best practices for risk and issue management, and we'll take a look at that in more detail. So for a specific project, we have a risk page. The order in which your risk and issue page is displayed may differ. At the very top, we can see a mini dashboard for our risks. We can see how many are closed and open. We can see among the open risks how many are high priority, medium priority, low priority. Within Acuity PPM, we offer both a general designation of high, medium, and low priority. And we also offer a more detailed view looking at this 5x5 grid, looking at the level of severity against the likelihood. So this 5x5 matrix is also commonly used in industry so that we can better evaluate what's the severity level of a risk, in this case from 1 to 5 or very low to very high, as well as the likelihood. And so even on this grid, risks that are in this lower left quadrant, that would be your lowest severity and lowest likelihood. You wouldn't be concerned with these types of risks. On the other hand, anything in this orange and red section represents something that's higher severity with higher likelihood. And we'll cover how to get into this in a moment. So we've got 3 existing risks, and we can add a new risk. When you click the Add button, this window pops up. You can type in the risk name. You can enter the risk type. Now this will be different for each organization based on how it's configured. In this demo, we've got options that risks could be associated with schedule, with budget, scope, quality, or resourcing. You may have other risk types. This is a way of categorizing the risks in your project. You might have project risks that are associated with the schedule or that are impacting the schedule. You might have risks that are impacting the budget, impacting the scope, etc. But again, this configuration is based on your own organization. There's a description field to add additional details about the risk. We have a risk response plan. This would highlight how the project team is going to respond to that particular risk. We have an additional notes field that can be used for providing some updated status. And then we have a number of drop-down options. There's a risk response drop-down. We've defaulted to mitigate, because mitigate is the most commonly chosen risk response, but it is possible to accept a risk, avoid a risk, simply watch the risk, or attempt to transfer the risk. So these options are available within Acuity. Then we have the risk owner. This would be the person that's responsible for managing that risk. And the drop-down represents the resource pool for your organization. So anyone that's captured in the resource pool would show up in this list. If you need someone to be added, please reach out to your administrator. If notifications are set up, some users may receive notifications that they have been added as a risk owner. Then we have the general priority field. This is the low, medium, and high option. How you use this would be based on your organization's process. But in some cases, organizations want to use the severity and likelihood mentioned earlier. This is where you would have the options from very low to very high. Very low represents that far left side of that risk cube, or a 1, and then the very high would represent a 5. When combined then with the likelihood, you could visualize the overall impact. There is a field for hyperlinks. This could be used to link to specific documents, be it on Teams, Google, SharePoint, etc., to reference back to specific documentation that's relevant to that risk. And then we've got system generated fields for the date created and the last updated. Now from this view, we can select a risk, we can choose to edit it, we can delete it, or we do have the option to convert a risk to an issue. So if we were to click on one of the risks, we could click on convert to issue. It's going to ask us, are you sure? When we say yes, once we convert, the risk is closed and the relevant information will be copied over to the issue page. So I'm going to click yes. So now we're seeing that it's closed. And if we go over to the issues page, we can see that we have one open risk, and this is in this case, the configuration challenges. So from here, the team could develop their action plan. Maybe they need to update the description, put in a resolution once it's completed, etc. This is on the project side. Now we're going to go navigate to the risk and issue page at the portfolio level. So we can go and take a look at that. I'm going to click on risks and issues. And here we've got a portfolio view of risks and issues across the portfolio. We can filter based on portfolios. If you have more than one portfolio and have access to more than one portfolio, you can filter based on the portfolio. You can select the project states. You can toggle between risks and issues. And if you needed to, you could look at the closed risks and issues as well. We've got the risk dashboard highlighting how many are low, medium, and high. In this example, been filtered to high priority risks. We can filter on any of the fields. In this view, we've already filtered to IT. So we're looking at IT risks. This view is important for the portfolio governance team to visualize key risks, especially in this view, filtered on department, filtered by high priority. This would just provide a quick way to communicate high priority risks. And the same would hold true for issues. We could toggle over to issues, the same functionality. Again, this is useful for communicating key risks and issues. If you have a particular view, you can save that view by clicking on the Save button in the upper right corner. And as always, if needed, you can export the full list of risks and issues to Excel. In this case, we would firstly want to deselect, look at all the risks, click on the Export button. It'll generate an output that we can use for further analysis. So if you have questions, reach out to your administrator or contact Acuity PPM support at acuityppm.com. With that, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.